I'm going to give you the cheat code to losing weight. But here's the thing, when it comes to losing the pudge and getting that sweet six-pack, everyone online will tell you, hey, just diet and exercise, bro. But if your mindset just isn't in the game, then it doesn't matter how many times you start a new diet or try again at the gym, you won't stick with it long enough to see the results you want. So in today's video, I want to give you the 3 biggest changes you can make to your mindset that'll guarantee success in the weight loss game. And how do I know this will work? Well, it's the same mindset shift I went through to transform myself from being skinny fat and unhappy with my body to actually building something I was proud of. And I want that for you. So let's start with trimming the fat. And no, I'm not talking about the fat around our bellies. I'm talking about the metaphorical fat around our lives. The fastest way to ruin your life is to try and solve everyone else's problems. With the recent rise of technology and our adoption of it into everyday life, we've become faster, more efficient, and more connected than ever. But while technology has given us all these perks, it's also come with some major downsides. The truth is, most guys live in a constant state of high stress and chronic fatigue. The kind of exhaustion a good night's sleep can't even fix, and they don't even realize it. With 24/7 access to the world's problems at our fingertips, the ability to worry about things we've got no involvement in has never been easier. Guys will wake up and before even stretching their legs will have checked the news or their favorite social media app and seen another war started, or some politicians doing that, or some sports players gone and done this. And before they've even got a chance to worry about their own problems, their brain is working overtime trying to organize all these other issues it thinks is important. Just think about it. It wasn't long ago we were living in tribes of just a few hundred people. You could go about your day completely clueless of all the different problems going on in the world, and it wouldn't affect you one single bit. But now it's pushed on us, and we all feel like we need to worry about it because everyone else is. But the problem with that is if you're spending all of your time stressing about other people's problems, you'll never have the mental energy to start worrying about your own problems. Let me show you how this works. I want you to imagine you're this container, and the straw here is your connection to the news, social media, or just other people's problems. Now, water represents energy, and for you to regain control of your life and have the energy to actually lose the weight and be healthy, you need this much water. Now look what happens when you start to get some energy back into your life. It just slowly leaks out, and look where it's going, right down the drain. Infinite problems. This sink isn't going to fill up anytime soon. And as long as you keep this line between the world's problems and your energy open, it's going to continue to leak out. But look what happens when we block the straw. You not only get enough energy to solve your own problems, but you get so much that you start having excess you can now spend taking care of things that actually matter, like your friends or your family's problems. But first, you must take care of yourself. So ask yourself, what news outlet or social media do you spend excess time on that feels necessary but actually isn't? And if you're not sure, just go and check your screen time. Point 2 is wrong or fat. Would you rather be fat or wrong? It's a provocative question, isn't it? Now, most people would instinctively say wrong, but their actions say otherwise. Now, I have stolen this idea from Alex Hormozi, so I do have to give him a bit of credit, but this idea is so good that once you understand it, it's going to give you a completely new way at looking at yourself and your weight loss journey. So there are 5 competence levels around how people look at new challenges. Positive active, positive passive, neutral passive, negative passive, and negative active. Positive active people believe that if it's not against the laws of physics, then it's possible. For example, Sir Roger Bannister was the first man ever to run a 4-minute mile. Up until then, the world widely regarded the 4-minute mile as impossible. Roger was positive active. He believed that although it hadn't been done before, it wasn't against the laws of physics. Positive passive are people that have proof that it's been done, so they believe they can do it as well. These are all the people that ran the 4-minute mile after Roger. They saw that he did it and thought to themselves, well, if he can do it, then it's possible for me to do it. Neutral passive is where the first shift in mindset happens. People that are neutral passive hope for success without active effort. It's the overweight guy who signs up to the new weight loss class and says, let's see if this works for me. It's putting responsibility on the teacher or the vehicle instead of the effort he's going to bring. Negative passive is very similar to neutral passive, except it doubts success for them specifically. Again, it's putting responsibility on the program, but instead of saying, let's see if this works for me, it's now, this probably works, but it's not going to work for me. It's the guys that think they're special in some way. Yeah, calorie counting works for other guys, but it's probably not going to work for me. I'm special in some way. Negative active are the people that actively prove something isn't going to work for them. These are the class 10 victims. Instead of saying it's probably not going to work for me, they go out of their way to prove something isn't going to work for them. This is the overweight guy who says, no, this new diet and workout plan isn't going to work for me. I can prove it. I've got something different about my body. I just can't keep the fat off. They actively self-sabotage. Now it's funny because some of you might be positive active in some aspects of your life, but negative active in others. Let's take me for example. In stuff like fitness and education, I lean more towards positive active. Other people have done it or learnt it, so why can't I? But in relationships, I lean way more towards negative active. I'm quite an introverted guy, and whenever relationship challenges or opportunities come up, I often find myself thinking, no, relationships, they're not for me. I'm too closed off, I'm too focused on my work, they're just not going to work for me. And you might be the same. When it comes to your job, you might have a positive active mindset. Why can't I fix these pipes? Why can't I close this business deal? There's nothing stopping me. But when it comes to that new diet or losing some weight, it's no, this diet isn't going to work for me. I've tried weight loss in the past, I just can't do it. As humans, we love to be right. But the thing is, if you're negative active, you're actively trying to prove weight loss isn't going to work for you, there's only two outcomes. You can either be right and fat, or wrong and thin. You can't have them both. What aspects of your life do you lean more towards positive active and negative active? All right, point 3, motivation is a reward. I had a conversation a few days ago with a guy in a restaurant that I often cross paths with. He'd previously told me that he'd signed up to the gym. Now, me being a personal trainer, I made it routine to ask how his gym progress was going every time we caught up. But this time when I asked him, he gave me a very familiar response. I just don't have the motivation to go. Guys will spend years suffering in silence, waiting for motivation to come. But what if it just never does? And they spend the best years of their lives when they should be the fittest and the highest energy, slow, sluggish, and overweight because they're just waiting for something to come and save them. So I'll tell you what I told him. Motivation comes from action. It's the reward you get for taking the leap of faith, for following the pursuit when everything's telling you to quit. Every hero in every story has had this dilemma. Stay in your current situation and slowly lose control, or take the leap of faith. Fight the fight and come out better because of it. But I want to take you back, because after that conversation, it got me wondering, what if you just don't have the energy to start? And that's why I shared those previous 2 points first. If you don't believe it's going to work, then you'll never even want to start. And if you believe it's going to work, but you don't have the energy for it, then you're just exhausting yourself with everyone else's problems. So if you're in the same situation as my friend, look at your life and figure out where that obstruction is. Are you out of shape because you don't believe it's possible, or you just don't have the energy to start? Because if you're waiting for motivation, it's only going to come when you take the plunge and trust in the process. I hope this video's helped. See you later, gents.